They were brought back in 2019, bringing together dozens of countries, hundreds of athletes and millions of dollars in costs. But the biennial Arafura Games were postponed last year due to the pandemic, and now the government says they're gone for good.
We just could not continue the planning. We were getting to the point where we're signing off on, or needed to sign off on significant contracts and plans going forward, and it wasn't fair.
It's no surprise that under the cover of COVID, this government is ducking and weaving, breaking promises to Territorians and hiding behind the fact that the reason they can't have the Arafura Games going forward is because we are stone cold broke and they can't afford it.
The government denies the Games price tag of more than $7 million is behind the decision.
We were very passionate about the Games. It was something that we're incredibly disappointed when they were cancelled previously, and the 2019 Games were a great success.
Their first Games was a total flop. It didn't hit the mark both from a participant perspective, from a spectator perspective, or from a cost-benefit analysis to territory businesses.
And while there won't be international athletes touching down in Darwin for the Arafura Games, returning Olympians will be heading to Howard Springs next month, along with more repatriation flights, as the federal government tries to avoid beds sitting unused due to cancellations and travel difficulties, leaving planes partly empty.
We have testing in the days leading up to the flight. There's a number of factors as to why people don't make those flights, and therefore we see them not at full capacity.
The government says Howard Springs has been running about 25% under capacity, partly because demand for flights from places such as London, Paris and Frankfurt has now dropped.
We're seeing other locations be identified because it's very difficult for those Australians who are caught up to get from another country in Europe across to those locations to make one of these repatriation flights. So DFAT is doing that work to see how close we can get to their departure points.
The government says even if the cap of 2,000 fortnightly arrivals is reached, there's hundreds of beds reserved for domestic quarantine as required. Nicholas Hines, ABC News.